I could call upon my distant brothers and sisters to overtake everything you have ever built. But I'm not that petty. You are not meant to be this far down.
That's what I've been saying. I've been saying to the dudes and the dudettes, we shouldn't be down here, guys. I stopped at 50 meters. We need to go back up. We don't need to be down here. Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. I am Espoir du Vide. And today I want to play a game that was part of the 72-hour Murder Mayhem Jam and the Single Choice Game Jam called SYN. 7 days ago, the Silver Treader rose from a classified hydropelagic trench in the Pacific Ocean. Painted on it was the blood of the 3 scientists that were cradled in the submarine. Their bodies were nowhere to be found. 6 days ago, the Caspian cell, armed with the blessings of science, disembarked into the trench. 5 days ago, it emerged with a catch. 4 hours ago, everyone in the facility was reclaimed by the sea. Why do I keep playing these games with cool fishmen and undersea shenanigans when I am terrified of the deep ocean? The hydropelagic zone is the deepest region of the ocean. Tucked sweetly in deep trenches, deeper than the darkness of the abyssal zone. Rapid scientific developments have allowed marine biologists access to the most mysterious parts of the sea floor. Underwater facilities were quickly built in the mesopelagic zones, around 200 to 1,000 meters into the depths. I go 50 meters into the depths, I'm like, nope, I'm good, you guys can do the rest. You are a marine biologist of the Emboro Deep facility, conducting research on deep-sea crustaceans. Your work has always been mundane. You collect samples and study them. You are nothing like the biologists with a death wish who plunge into deeper waters. The ones who bring a gun, not for krakens, but for themselves. Each sample you receive is larger than the last. It makes sense. Deep-sea giganticism makes an organism more efficient. Better metabolism, better gathering of food, greater nutrients once it falls to the sea floor. Large isopods are burnt into the back of your skull already. Day 1, I would quit this job. You show me a 6-foot isopod, I'm going to introduce myself to the door. The Silver Treader was going back into the fray to capture footage of large eels. I do not want to see no footage of no large eels. Rumors circulated that they were eating the waste propelled by Emboro Deep. You remember seeing Mikawa, Barrow, and Lewis before their descent. Aww. And you cannot get the visions of their remains painted on the front of that submarine out of your head. It was like the smears of a wild animal, but you know it was done with intention. 3 ventured back in to find evidence of the dead and to capture what had brought them to their demise. It was difficult to describe this creature at first. Humanoid in some aspects, but nonetheless alien. The higher-ups were unsure what to name it. Their process usually takes longer and is bureaucratic. It was relatively docile, but would become aggressive when any tests that were not purely observational were attempted. Multiple faculty were injured in attempts to take its blood. Well, have you tried asking nicely? What conclusions were made were slim. It is a male of its species, and shares characteristics with cutthroat eels. What are cutthroat eels? Is that a thing? Is that a real thing that exists in this world that we live in? Yes, it's a real thing. Why are they called cutthroat eels? Eels, honey. Eels! Something under its skin makes it bioluminescent. Those who captured it reported that it only began to glow when arriving at the facility. It does not communicate, but it seems to understand human language and the meaning behind words. Any attempts to make it communicate have been futile. Make sure Espoir doesn't go near this thing. She watched The Shape of Water. Don't let her get ideas. It is ignoring the scientists. Its primary role is a scavenger. Considering the death of 3 scientists of the Silver Treader, it may also be a predator. and it is not eaten since arrival. It had to be contained to a tank meant for dozens of animals. Oh, we got it? We got this thing? Oh, that doesn't sound like a good idea. Multiple numbers for its full length have been thrown around. 50 feet in length, 75 feet. It is large. That's all that matters. Putting in my 2 weeks notice? 2 weeks as in starting today, like right now? Most formal business surrounding the creature had to wait. Word gets to the outside world only through monthly supply runs. Everyone reveled in the discovery of a new species, that they were the only ones to know about it. The facility collectively named the creature SYN, after the scientific classification. I can do this. Synaphobranchidae? SYN.
Well, that's why they call it that.
And perhaps it was a sin to bring it into Emboro Deep. We totally won't regret this decision. You aren't quite sure what happened or how fast it did. Oh, you mean my resignation? A few hours ago, you had been given a half-dead octopus that was the size of a preteen girl. These things shouldn't be down here. There were a few abnormalities. 4 too many tentacles? An extra set of eyes? Boss, I quit! I quit! I quit! Mutations that were otherwise unnecessary. You heard a few rumbles far away. That was only natural in the Emboro Deep. Underwater earthquakes and large supply hulls can often cause rumbles. It was not until someone burst into your room with blood rushing down their arms that you were alarmed. You didn't know who it was before they were dragged back into the darkness. You closed and barred the door, sitting in the confines of your workroom. Against the door you heard alarm bells and the screams, wet, putrid sounds of sea creature flesh and the tearing apart of human tendons. There were a few small implements used to vivisect new specimen that you grabbed to fend for yourself. You knew in a real fight that they would do nothing. Having them, nonetheless, brought you peace. Whatever's coming at me, they may kill me, but they're losing an eye. You waited until it was quiet outside, save for the sounds of live wires. You opened the door. For now, you could only walk through the carnage. It was hard to see through the flashing of red emergency lights and puffs of steam from broken pipes. Parts of the ceiling have fallen, making the once familiar hallways difficult to navigate.
Attention! All personnel must evacuate Emboro Deep facility as quickly and safely as possible. Proceed to an escape pod or submarine located in...
The emergency broadcast experiences static and ceases operation. Truth be told, you don't remember the safety procedures. You went over them once when you arrived, and never again since. I think that's something in an underwater laboratory full of dangerous, gigantic creatures that we should probably do more often. You'll make your way the way you can. Under rubble, you always found bodies. So many of them. You don't know how you got here, but you feel it doesn't matter. But when you reach a door left in pristine condition compared to the other wrecked ones, you can feel it. This room is blanketed with the dust of rubble from the shaking of the facility. Otherwise, it is left clean. Papers are still stacked neatly on their desks. The pipes rumble, but they do not burst. Ah! Hi! And towering above you is the creature in its containment. Should I give you my 2 weeks' notice, or should I just leave it on the desk? 'Cause I'm out of here. Bye! Its hand rests upon the glass, tail almost wagging when it sees you. Oh, this is the first time you've seen it in person. You've seen sketches that look like they were drawn by children as supplemental material. Its eyes follow you as you move across the room and in front of its tank, but its head does not. You stand in front of SYN, who looks down at you with what humans would read as glee on its face. You're the cause of this, aren't you? It moves closer to you to meet your eyes.
Perhaps I did.
Its voice rings in your ears, but it does not open its mouth.
I do not know your language, but I know your thoughts. You're scared, and I'm sure me communicating through your mind does not help. I'll have to apologize, but I know you will not forgive me. It is in your complicated nature.
You swallow and hold your head in your hands. Blood pulses through your eardrums, and you feel dizzy.
You don't have a lot of time to leave this place, human. Everyone else is dead. All that scampers through the corners of your facility are the very being you captured. Consider it their version of, what is it? Revenge?
Understandable. You swear you see a glisten in its deep eyes.
I do not feel a single other soul of your kind with blood that still sings so sweetly. Unfortunately, as much as I was able to rouse the desires of the other creatures of this vessel, to turn them against the evildoers who force them from their homes, they are all too blinded in their rage to release me. They are animals, after all. They cannot operate the mechanisms. However, you can. I am willing to enter a contract with you, similar to the one you signed when arriving here. Confidential, binding, eternal. There are a set of buttons over by the pipes to my right, your left. Press the red and blue one at the same time, and you will override the system. The pressure will become too much, and the glass will break. Should you do this for me, I will make sure you make it to land unscathed. You will not tell a soul what happened here. Should you let even an ounce of it leave your body, the weight of the sea will fall once again on your body, and you will be returned to me.
You drive a hard bargain. Also, I can imagine he's like, guys, let me out. Come on, guys, please. And the jellyfish and the cutthroat eels are just like, doing their own thing while they're just sitting there like, guys, come on. You look to the buttons, and your gaze returns to SYN. Why did you kill them?
Are you referring to the 3 who ventured into my territory in hopes of stealing those in my community for your study, your experiments? It was a warning to abandon your site and return from whence you came.
How is it any different from what you've done here? Fish.
I am defending my home, just as you all have before. You are stealing my children from me. If you release them back to us, they return with permanent wounds, disfigured beyond recognition. How repulsive.
You feel vomit building up in the back of your throat. I did what any other creature in my position and power would do. I brought, what is it called? Heck upon your species, just in this instance.
I could call upon my distant brothers and sisters to overtake everything you have ever built, but I'm not that petty. We could make it happen, and we could make it swift, to feel the rush that comes from the taste of sweet blood.
SYN's voice, without an opening mouth, is making you uncomfortable.
You are not meant to be this far down.
That's what I've been saying. I've been saying to the dudes and the dudettes, we shouldn't be down here, guys. I stopped at 50 meters. We need to go back up. We don't need to be down here.
When this vessel collapses, you and everybody will collapse alongside it. You will not last even a fraction of a second under the pressure of the water. If you manage to survive for longer than that, Then the fear of the darkness will swallow you whole. If you refuse this deal, you will never find your way back. Look at yourself. You're tired. You're about to spill your innards onto the floor.
Shut up. As if, on command, you hunch over and vomit all over yourself. My lab coat! It's a mixture of food, water, and viscera.
As such, I will leave unscathed in every scenario. This vessel will collapse on itself. This glass will break, erode, whatever nature decides. I will be hungry, but I will be free. In every scenario, I will return home. The same cannot be said for you. I am practically giving you a gift, even though I should allow a squid to choke you to death in its grasp. I will not bother killing you myself.
You cover your mouth and wipe the excess of your vomit from your lips.
Take my offer, for your sake.
Will you free SYN, Guardian of the Abyss? In this instance, yeah, they're kinda right.
Yes, I will.
And then I end up pressing the wrong buttons because I'm panicking. It does not move its mouth, but you know it is smiling.
Wise. As I have stated before, if you look towards the pipes, you will see 2 buttons. The damage to your vessel has already overwhelmed these systems. Hold the red and blue ones at the same time for up to 7 seconds.
You listen to its instructions, holding the buttons for as long as you hold your breath. You hear the creaking of the Emboro deep from the room. It's suffocating. Eep! The glass starts to break, and then it shatters completely. The room immediately fills with tens of thousands of gallons of water. You're swept up in the rush, taken completely into the sea.
I hope, for your sake, that we never have to meet again.
Yay, they kept their promise. You aren't sure how you got here, washed up upon the beach of an unknown country, risen from the Haddle Zone 9,000 meters down, relatively unscathed, a little traumatized. I will never eat seafood again. You spit the remaining seawater and sand out of your mouth, and of course, you vomit once more. Bleh. You do what you know, and you do what you can. You make your way inland, as far as you can, and hide yourself within a community. If you are found by anyone associated with Emboro Deep, you know you will be forced to tell them of what happened. I could just say I don't know. I got bashed around. I don't know. I told you guys we shouldn't be down there. I put in my 2 weeks' notice. One way or another. And you know you'll be carried back out to sea. Those glowing eyes are in every dream, after all. Cool, also morbidly terrifying. Hey, why you kick me out of the game? I want to go back in and see what happens. Alright, what if I'm dumb and say no? Why would I say no? I will refuse. I don't need the help of a murderer or of an alien with a bloodlust to find my way home. Need I remind me that you are like 9 bazillion miles underwater? You hear an echoing hum in the room of unsatisfaction.
I see. Selfish to your core, even now. If that is the case, then we have no reason to continue this dialogue.
You feel a weight being lifted from your mind. You rub your temples and your eyes as if you were once again a small child. For a few more moments, you stare at SYN, like, so what now? It only stares back. Your communication has been severed. Ugh. Finally, you swallow and continue your way through the Emboro Deep. Eventually, as you walk cautiously through the carnage, you find a submarine. It is the same make and model as the Silver Treader. You've never driven a submarine before, but the escape subs have special mapping to take you safely to land. All you need to do is flick the emergency switch and go on your way. I'm guessing, That's not gonna be that easy. Now, you wait. Allow the submarine to safely disembark and take you to shore. You're tired, and you allow yourself a quick respite. A short nap is all you need. I'm gonna take a nap, and then wake up, and then SYN's gonna be up in my face like, I told you to press the buttons, now I gotta eat ya. The August 15th shipment comes to a crumbled facility. There is nothing to recover. All files are lost to the sea, their paper drained of all ink. The bodies have been washed away, at least what is left of them. The supply team makes a conclusion that an explosion of an unknown source caused the collapse of the Imbaro Deep. Any submarines not taken have sunk to the sea floor. There are no known survivors. Except me? Except me? Well, that was SYN, a short little terrifying adventure by game developer Catsket. I need to play a lot more of their games, because they have a lot of them, and they look really cool. And yeah, this just confirms that, I don't like big things underwater, despite one of my favorite games being Subnautica. But anyway, there will be a link in the description to this game, so you can check out more of Casket's amazing games. And if you would like to see even more really cool visual novels, be sure to peruse my channel, and don't forget to like, subscribe, or interact in any way that's comfortable for you, as we're trying to make it to 100,000 subscribers. But anyway, for right now, thank you so much for hanging out with me. Take care of yourself, have a great night, and remember, there is always hope.